Hello there, welcome to a new week on Granada Reports. We're live with the news across the northwest.
Yeah, good evening and thanks for joining us. Here's what's coming up on tonight's programme.
Thousands of Everton fans descend on Bramley Moor Dock tonight as their new stadium sees its first game. We're live at the ground on an historic day for the club.
We're really looking forward to see what the stadium's all about.
We do need to move, we need to keep up with the time.
Sorry to be going, but I think it's probably the right time for the club to move to a new ground as well.
A worrying spike in measles cases in the northwest. One mum shares her heartbreaking story of loss in the hope that other families are spared the suffering.
I never imagined in my mind that she would pass away. I think about how easily it could have been prevented.
The magic is back. Show-stopping stunts make their return to Blackpool as Harry Houdini inspires a new generation of performers.
Back in Liverpool, the Wombats return to their home city to launch their latest studio album.
And is it just me, or has it really been this cold like forever? Well, today temperatures barely got to around 4, maybe 5 Celsius, but things are going to change. Through the course of the week, we get a strong southwesterly wind developing, and that is really going to lift the temperatures. I will give you all the details in the full forecast later on in the programme.
Yes, all of that coming up, so please do stay with us. First, though, to a massive Monday night on Merseyside.
Yeah, Everton's new stadium will finally welcome supporters as the first test event takes place at Bramley Moor Dock.
10,000 fans chosen by ballot will get to watch the under-18s friendly fixture against Wigan Athletic.
Yeah, and although it's a friendly, there's a lot at stake, of course, as tonight will test the facilities, the stewarding and the safety of everyone in the stadium and the plaza around.
Well, let's cross to Liverpool now. Our sports correspondent Mike Hall is live for us there tonight. And Mike, what a moment this is for Everton Football Club.
Yeah, this is a hugely significant moment in the history of Everton Football Club. They've been playing at Goodison Park for more than 130 years now, but tonight is the start of a new era. This is Everton Stadium. The Blues will officially start playing here at the start of next season, but tonight is the night when the doors open for the very first time, and this is what it looks like. This is an £800 million venue. It has a capacity of nearly 53,000. It sits right on the banks of the River Mersey, less than 2 miles from Goodison Park. It will be the 7th biggest stadium in the Premier League, but I can tell you there are few anywhere in the world that are more spectacular. In fact, it has already been chosen as one of the venues for the Euros in 2028. And I can tell you, any Everton supporters arriving here tonight are in for a treat. 10,000 have been lucky enough to make it through a ballot for tonight's test event. It is a match between Everton's under-18s and Wigan Athletics under-18s. It is a chance for the club to have a dry run to make sure that those new systems that are in place are working and to iron out any snags. It is the next step on making this stadium one of the best on the planet. Emma Sweeney now takes a look at how we got here tonight.
First Division Everton kick off from left to right against Second Division Blackburn Rovers at Goodison Park.
For more than 132 years, this grand old lady, as she's affectionately known, has welcomed countless football fans from both near and far. And in the process, she's played host to some of the game's biggest names, not to mention 1 or 2 victories for the Blues themselves. But while Goodison Park made history as England's first major football stadium, its worn-out interior is no longer fit for the modern game.
We've got to move forward, haven't we? We've got to move forward, like they say, for the right reasons. It's going to elevate the club.
Because I think we do need to move, we need to keep up with the times. New stadium will be exciting.
I'm looking forward to the new stadium, but obviously it's going to be sad to see Goodison go.
Sorry to be going, but I think it's probably the right time for the club to move to a new ground as well.
And just like Everton's original home, this £800 million replacement is set to be a trailblazer among modern stadia.
I think it's
it's the place around us, so the uniqueness of all the assets that we've got in the listed element of the walls, of the hydraulic tower, of how this sits so beautifully within the surrounding that it's within, and it's also still very Everton. You know, we've got so many touches here and there of Goodison and what the club means to us, so I think it's just, it'll be touching for most Evertonians.
But the arrival of the new neighbours on Liverpool's Bromley Moor Dock isn't entirely without controversy. The council's proposing to build a parking zone around the new stadium, with some fearing the plans will kill local businesses.
It is an experimental order, so that means that we can amend it at any time. We can take on board feedback. We can see how it's working. So it is about actually testing it and seeing what happens, but listening to people and seeing what the impact is on the ground and how it's working, and we'll respond to that accordingly.
The row over parking aside, Everton's under-18s are preparing to make history tonight as the first ever game gets underway in the brand new stadium.
Very, very lucky, you know, so fortunate. You know, there's plenty of fans, you know, who've missed out on this, and, you know, hopefully in the next coming months they'll get their chance as well before the real thing kicks off. But yeah, so fortunate to be here, and, you know, we're really looking forward to see what the stadium's all about.
Nothing but the best is good enough is the motto for this club, and that's certainly true of the new stadium. It's now up to the players to do the rest. Emma Sweeney, ITV News, Liverpool.
Well, as you can see, Everton fans are continuing to arrive here for this test event tonight, which gets underway at 7 o'clock. The gates here opened about half an hour ago, and we can bring you some pictures now of a little piece of history. The first Everton fan to walk in through the turnstiles at Everton Stadium. His name is Kiernan Ainsworth. Now, Kiernan and his older brother Connor were both massive Everton fans. Sadly, Connor passed away last year, aged 30, and the club wanted to honour his memory by inviting his family to be the first ones through the doors of this new stadium. And we have now dragged them back outside to tell us what it's like in there. Kiernan, what is it like?
It's great. It's so modern, and it's so obvious that the club have listened to everything the fans have asked for, with steep stands close to the pitch. And just looking at it, it's amazing. It's just worth every penny.
What a privilege to be the first fan through the turnstile here. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot to me and my family. But it's not a surprise. The club have always been so fan-oriented, and it's just great to be the first one in there to see it all happen.
Let's bring in your dad, Thomas. Thomas, I know this is bittersweet tonight because you would have wanted to do this as a family with your son Connor, who you lost last year. He's here on the banner, which I know you're going to take into the stadium with you shortly. Tell us a bit about Connor. He sounds like a remarkable young man who lived through a lot of adversity.
He was a very brave young man. I'm so proud of him. You know, he's obviously not with us any longer. We had hoped to bring him into the stadium, but you know, clearly that's never going to happen now. But he was just amazing. He was a fantastic. He suffered so much as a young child, suffered through his life till the age of 30, until thankfully he passed peacefully at home with his family.
What a gesture from the club.
The club are amazing, aren't they? I mean, we always go on about the old saying of being the people's club. It's not just a people's club. This is a family club, and this is what it's all about. They're a fantastic club. They've done so much, and to be asked to come here from the Sun as the first fan, what can you say?
I've got to ask you in the time we have left, what do you make of it?
Oh, look at it. Just look at this behind us. We started off with Dan Mice, the architect. We weren't sure if it was ever going to happen. Then it moved on to a traffic cone and the Calavant engraving dock. And here we are now, stood at what is arguably probably one of the finest stadiums, not just English football, but world football as well.
Chaps, thanks for talking to us. We'll let you get in there and enjoy the game. We'll let them make history again now by becoming the first fans to go in twice. But it is that kind of a night. It's a moment of history. Everton Stadium is officially open.
Yeah, let's hope everyone enjoys the occasion. Mike Hall at Everton Stadium, thank you.
Well, let's take a look at some more of the day's news now. And the search for an attacker continues after a man was found with serious stab wounds at Manchester Victoria Station last night. The attack took place on Pittsford Road in Monsall in North Manchester. Police were called to the station around 2 miles away at around 7 p.m. and a man in his 20s was rushed to hospital. No arrests have been made.
Two museums on the waterfront in Liverpool have secured £10 million of government money to keep them open amid concerns that the funding would be pulled. The International Slavery Museum and the Maritime Museum have been granted the cash to expand and maintain the Grade 2 listed buildings.
Well, next tonight, and cases of measles are now at their highest level since 2012.
In the northwest, we have seen around 100 cases since January 2024. That is compared to just 8 cases in 2003.
Well, health officials say the increase is down to a fall in the number of children getting vaccinated. Measles is mild for many, but it can be serious and even life-threatening for some people.
And as James Webster now reports, the northwest is well behind many other parts of the country when it comes to giving our children protection against the disease.
To sit back and watch her deteriorate was just horrendous. Like when she went to ICU, I never imagined in my mind that she would pass away.
Becky's daughter Renee was 10 when she died from rare complications almost a decade after contracting measles. At 5 months old, she was too young to be vaccinated against it, but her mother from Salford believes she might not have caught it if more children had the jab.
I've only just realised myself, like, she's actually not here, and I think about how easily it could have been prevented if they want an outbreak as well. And yeah, it's only now just sinking in.
Our generation's risk of illnesses, like measles and whooping cough, is rising.
Cases of measles are now at their highest level since 2012. More than 2,900 were confirmed in England last year. So far this year there have been 91 cases, and experts partly blame low take-up of the MMR jab, which protects against measles. The average across the northwest, 86%, well below the recommended 95%. In Manchester, it's just 73%. Health experts responsible for the northwest are studying the figures and say they're concerned.
In large urban areas like Manchester and Liverpool, we do see lower rates of uptake, but also across every local authority in every part of the northwest there'll be pockets where there'll be lower uptake rates. So it's really important that everyone looks at whether they have been vaccinated, whether their child has been vaccinated, and if they haven't been vaccinated, to contact their GP and arrange a vaccine, because anybody at any age who's not been vaccinated can arrange a vaccine to be undertaken.
Experts also say there are some communities where families aren't registered with doctors, especially if they've recently moved here. Complacency is also an issue at this specialist lab. They say some people have forgotten how serious measles can be.
For the majority of people, measles is a self-limiting infection. You'll see it as a rash, as a fever, as a cough, bloodshot eyes, but you will overcome it. Your immune system will defeat that virus. Unfortunately, for a small percentage of those who get the virus, they will see a much more deadly form of the disease.
By making sure them immunisations are up to date, you're potentially saving other children's lives as well as your own child. So I just really hope people see Renee's story and say, I've got to make sure my kids are vaccinated.
Although Renee's case is unusual, her mother now wants to do everything she can to warn other families why vaccinations are so important. James Webster, ITV News.
OK, now let's have a look and see what's coming up in the ITV Evening News at 6:30 with Gerard.
Keir Starmer meets European leaders for talks on Ukraine. The Prime Minister says he is prepared to put British boots on the ground there to keep the peace if a ceasefire deal is reached. The government hits its target of 2 million extra NHS appointments, but the Health Secretary says there's still a hell of a lot more to do. And the countdown is on. Veterans get ready for the 80th anniversary of VE Day in 80 days' time. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
But next tonight, we're going to Blackpool's Golden Mile, which has been no stranger to big-name visitors and exciting attractions over the years.
Yeah, and one of the most legendary of those events occurred 120 years ago when the escapologist Harry Houdini staged one of his most famous feats, an escape from the cells of Blackpool's police station.
Yeah, well, today, another magician for whom Houdini is a bit of a hero is doing his own death-defying stunt at the resort. Do not, we repeat, do not try this at home. Our correspondent Rob Smith reports.
How can any human being hold their breath to break out of cuffs and chains underwater? Escapologist Andrew Basso prepped today to show Blackpool he's that human being. The act was pioneered by the world-famous Harry Houdini, who performed in the resort 120 years ago. A jail cell door he broke out of in the town is preserved in a museum, and for someone to whom he's a hero, it's a big reason to mark the anniversary.
Being able to be so close, being able to touch it, there is no protection. I can touch something that Houdini touched, my hero. So it's, you know, an incredible piece, and that connects me to the legend. I'm looking already for how to unscrew this and to see, but I don't know if the museum...
I think they might notice, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Enthusiasts preserved parts of Blackpool's history of magic for years, and so much could have been easily lost, including the door.
People have held on to the history, whether it be in their work, their businesses, or in their homes. You know, when they saw something that they thought that is important, that's special, they kept hold of it. So there was so many people we were able to talk to and access material that we didn't know was there initially. It's an amazing survival.
Are you itching now to have a word with Andrew about getting his water tank?
Oh, I would love that.
The safety protocols behind shows like this are very different from Houdini's day, and no one should try this at home. But wowing and inspiring people like Houdini did through his jailbreak is a different matter.
In its day, I mean, crikey, that must have been some spectacle for people. And, you know, to be able to acknowledge that and celebrate that today and hopefully inspire some future escapologists in the audience tonight, or people just go and look at what's happened here in the past.
Andrew says controlling his heart rate is key to this act, an act he's performed many times, but never outdoors on a seafront. Rob Smith, ITV News, Blackpool.
And just to reiterate, do not try that at home, especially the Walderman children. I'm talking to you. OK, on to sport now. And the problems keep mounting for Manchester United, don't they, Chris?
That's right. 12 players on their injury list now, and another defeat yesterday has put Manchester United into survival mode, according to manager Ruben Amorim.
To stop focusing on the big picture is not the moment to do that. Just focus on the next game. Let's do everything to win some games to finish the season, and then think in the big picture. In this moment is just to try to stay with the players healthy, to recover some players, and focus on what we have to do in the next game, and that is our goal.
Arne Slot says the hangover from last week's Merseyside derby is affecting his players.
I thought today, after us conceding the 2-1, that maybe for the first time this season we were a bit like, ooh, after conceding in the last minute against Everton, I think that was in our heads a bit. And that's also why we as a team were so furious Wednesday.
Manchester City head to Real Madrid this week, lifted by an impressive win over Newcastle. Well, next to a special moment for Blackburn Rovers' Adam Forshaw, the midfielder, scored his first goal in nearly 9 years as Rovers beat Plymouth 2-0. Elsewhere in the Championship, the Lancashire derby between Preston and Burnley ended in a goalless draw. Stockport County strengthened their grip on a League One playoff place, beating Wigan 2-0. Bolton Wanderers are still right in the hunt, though, after they won 3-2 at Shrewsbury. And Blackpool fought back to take a 3-3 draw from their game with Mansfield. Crewe are back in the League Two playoff places after their goalless draw with Gillingham lifted them above Salford. They were beaten along with Fleetwood and Barrow, but Tranmere drew 1-1 with MK Dons, and Morecambe beat Accrington 2-0 to move to within 2 points of escaping the drop zone. Manchester City's Khadija Shaw celebrated scoring with a Black Power salute in response to recent racist abuse. She scored twice in City's 4-0 win over Liverpool and raised a fist in defiance of the abuse she received on social media after last month's defeat to Arsenal. Elsewhere in Super League, Everton lost, but Manchester United made it 6 wins in a row, beating Crystal Palace 3-1. And speaking of Super League, Rugby League's top flight returned with a bang for St Helens fans. They immediately went top of the early table with an 82-0 win over Salford Red Devils, who only named 16 players in their squad, 8 of them making their debut. This because of a strict salary cap imposed while the takeover of their club awaits ratification. Saints, though, were merciless with 15 unanswered tries.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsor of the Granada Sport Report.
Finally, we head to the slopes and a bit of history for Lancashire skier Dave Riding. After a superb second run, he finished 6th in the slalom at the World Alpine Ski Championships in Austria. It's Great Britain's best men's result at the championships. Since 1934, Dave's previous best was 9th. He says it was his last World Championships. I think he should carry on.
Absolutely. Such an achievement.
Again.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Chris. Well, finally tonight to Liverpool's very own the Wombats, who've returned to their home city to launch their 6th studio album.
Yeah, the band are enjoying a bit of a comeback and are about to set off on a major tour.
And yeah, it includes a homecoming gig in Liverpool in June, with dates in Manchester and across Europe to follow.
Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore caught up with them at Liverpool's Baltic Market.
I realize I love America and she hates me.
Here we are with the Wombats at the Baltic Market in Liverpool. It's absolutely freezing, FYI. This is a launch of your 6th studio album, Oh the Ocean. How excited are you?
It's so cool to be doing it back in Liverpool. We've been trying to make this work for a long time, but it's also quite mad that we've made it to album number 6 as well.
Yeah, and the fish and chip truck behind us, Dan, was that your idea for Oh the Ocean?
It was not, but it was our label's idea, but it was a great idea. And I don't know if you've had a chance to see, there's like newspapers, like cutouts of us with loads of great puns and stuff, such as Long Time No See, SEA. So, you know, just a wealth of entertainment over there for you.
I love it. And you two are actually from Liverpool, aren't you? Todd, you're an adopted Liverpudlian, aren't you?
They call us Scandiscousers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but you've done the right thing here in a big, huge coat. We're all just absolutely freezing.
Coming with the routine. It's usually a lot colder than here anyway, where I'm from, so yeah.
Because you all actually met at LIPA, didn't you?
Yes, back in 03. We did a 1-year course, then me and Tor did the degree course, and we started the band, and then some things started happening, and then it became our full-time gig.
Obviously, it's like a bit of a homecoming, and you're playing on your tour here as well. Is it really special when you're back here?
Yeah, I mean, I actually moved back to Liverpool 2 years ago, so I live about 10 minutes that way. It's extra special, yeah, because obviously we have so many memories attached to the city growing up here, but also like the band starting here. We've played in literally like every little dive bar you can imagine and venue here, so all those memories come flooding back whenever we play. Playing up in the north of England is just like, the energy from the crowd is always unbelievable.
You formed over 20 years ago, you know, can you imagine?
You can't tell, can you?
No. But did you imagine back then that you'd be here, you know, like launching your 6th studio album?
No, it's a testament to the three of us and to all our fans for supporting us and keeping us energised in order to do it.
Come on in, Wombats, look at them, they've got their album.
Bring the product in.
Bring it in.
We don't go anywhere without these two, they're our bodyguards.
Yeah. Why did you call yourself the Wombats back in the day? Oh, this is you, Dan.
It was my fault. We had a gig in Liverpool and we actually didn't have a name for the band at the time, and the promoter said, oh come on, stick something on. I went, oh just put the Wombats down, that'll do. And then I told these two and they were like, why did you do that?
We used to call each other that as like a derogatory term in university, and there's an acronym of waste of money, brains and time, which is pretty great. Yeah.
So when you're on tour, because you're coming back to Liverpool
June the 19th on the waterfront,
do your Wombats come with you?
They do. Yeah, they've got their own bunks, and they actually have their own tour bus half the time. They're a messy bunch, but we love them dearly.
Thank you so much. Best of luck with it, guys.
Good to have them back. Now is Tori with the weather.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello again. Yes, it's finally going to warm up. It has been cold and cloudy for so long, but it's going to warm up because it's going to get more unsettled. The high pressure that's been sitting across us is now edging eastwards, and low pressure in the Atlantic is heading our way. But it is going to be dragging up some southwesterly winds, and that's bringing up air from the mid-Atlantic, and hence why the temperatures are on the rise. And they will be a good deal higher by the end of the week than they are now. We could see highs of maybe 14 or even 15 Celsius across the UK by that stage. But back to the here and now, it is another rather quiet and chilly night, or quiet for most of us at least. Out in the Irish Sea, it's going to get quite blustery with winds gusting up to about 30 miles an hour or so, and a little bit of rain from time to time. Elsewhere, dry and chilly enough for a touch of frost here and there in more rural spots. Sunrise is at 7:25 and sunset is at 5:26 in the evening. For most of us, a dry day, variable amounts of cloud in the morning, but later I'd say the trend is for things to brighten up quite nicely for the second half of the day, and maybe seeing some hazy sunshine to end things off. So feeling a bit more cheerful. Temperatures just a touch up on today, highs of around 6 Celsius. So the change is waiting in the wings, squeezing ever closer as we head through Tuesday night into Wednesday. So Wednesday starts off on another rather chilly note, and it should be a fine morning, but rain starts to spill in during the afternoon. There's probably not much of it. It'll be light and patchy, but it will start to bring those temperatures up just a touch. And then as we head from Thursday into Friday, we'll look at that 12 or 13 Celsius is quite likely by this time.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks, Tori. 13 degrees by Friday.
Amazing. Anything that will stop us shivering in here. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Bye-bye.